today in Rich in Relationship. We're going to talk about why are so many professional women in particular burning out so fast. If we are sacrificing everything, all of who we are, for everything else, and not charging our own battery, we're going to explode. There has to be some way to express those unexpressed needs. A Harvard Business Review study in 2021 shows that 60% of women report feeling pressure to outperform male peers to prove their worth. Welcome to another episode of Rich in Relationship. I am your host, Rich Heller, and today we're talking about she has it all. So why is she burnt out? And really, what we're talking about here is that many professional women are burning the candle at both ends. And I want to be really clear, we are not knocking professional women. What we are knocking here is sort of an extension of an earlier episode we did that was all about when you have it all, but things don't seem to be working. But this is really focused on the female professional side of that experience, all right? I've got the job, the kids, the house, the supportive husband. So why do I feel like something's missing? Great question, especially if you have the supportive husband, right? Women today achieve unprecedented levels of education, income, and independence. Like, women are kicking men's asses right and left in a way they never have historically, which is super cool, right? Because we live in a culture that kept women down for thousands of years. Finally, we are embracing what we say in word, which is that men and women are equal and have equal opportunities. But as we experience it, there is an odd thing happening. The outward success that so many of these ladies are experiencing, almost 30% of households have women who are prime wage earners, and another, I think it's 40%, have mothers who are contributing close to or similar to their husbands, if not prime wage earners, but they still feel like something's missing. So they're developing themselves personally, they're developing themselves professionally, they're out there, working their skills, working the market, but something's not right about it. 42% of working mothers report feeling burnt out often or always, compared to 35% of working fathers. That's a McKinsey study in 2022. What's driving that? There is still somewhat a challenge in role distribution in the household. Tom says she's an amazing career mom, partner, but why does she say she's unhappy? He doesn't get it, right? His wife's coming home. She's doing everything she said she wanted to, but she's still unhappy. And he feels bad for her. And the reason is there is cultural pressure to do it all, be it all, right? You've heard the expression, you can have it all, right? That was in some ways a very liberating expression for women who felt, moms who felt, what if I leave my child and go to work? The expression, you can have it all, was you can be successful in your career and still be there for your family, is what that meant. But it's been misinterpreted to you can do it all. And by doing it all, you will be it all. Not only will you be the alpha mom, but you'll be the alpha business person. And what happens to the marriage? There is no time for the marriage when that happens. The truth is that women still carry 65% of childcare and domestic tasks, even in dual earner households, a 2020 Pew study shows. Let me say that again. I don't think you got that. In even dual earner households, which is a pretty good percentage. I think it's like 1/5. I haven't got the number in front of me, but I remember it's pretty high where it's even dual earners. Even in those households, women are still carrying 65% of childcare and domestic tasks. That is what you call role overload. It's constant doing. There's no space for being. If you don't have time to take care of yourself, if you're always taking care of everyone else, taking care of work, taking care of the kids, and maybe even your partner, there's no time for you. If you're burning the candle at both ends, there's going to be nothing left. Achievement has no meaning if relational and personal needs aren't met. And the truth is, we cannot meet relational needs if we don't charge our own battery first. If we are sacrificing everything, all of who we are, for everything else, and not charging our own battery, we're going to get sick. We're going to have emotional breakdown. We're going to explode. We're going to end up having a lot of fights, or maybe we're just going to avoid fighting until we can't avoid it any further. There has to be some way to express those unexpressed needs, and it will come out. I felt success would make me feel strong, but sometimes I just feel invisible, is what Sarah says. Sarah, women are torn between old ideals, right? The old ideal was nurturer. The old ideal was family builder. The old ideal was supportive partner. And they're torn between that and the new ideals, which is I'm independent. I'm developing and growing myself. I'm growing in a career. Maybe I'm building a business. Some of you have heard about my own crisis. My own partner has struggled with this to some extent. And a big accomplishment for her has been getting that she needs to carve off time for her own interests. I used to be so jealous, but I got that she needed to pursue her own interests. And when she started pursuing her own interests, guess who she had more time for? Then she had more time for me. She was already showing up for work. She was already showing up for the kids. It was herself that she wasn't showing up for. And when she started charging her own battery, she became more emotionally available, not just for me, but for the kids also. What happens when we are torn between the old ideals and the new ideals? We feel fragmented. We feel like we're never enough. We can never do enough. We can never be enough. We're on this hamster wheel, going. And no matter how fast we go, it's never fast enough. A Harvard Business Review study in 2021 shows that 60% of women in leadership roles report feeling pressure to outperform male peers to prove their worth. Now, part of that is, yeah, you know what? It's been a male-dominated society for way too long. And these women leaders are proving themselves in structures created by a male mindset. And so, yeah, of course, they've got to kick ass and take names. But when that becomes equated with your sense of self-worth, they're slipping into the same trap that men have been in for thousands of years. It's a human conundrum, not a male conundrum. My worth is based on what I do. My experience of myself is based on what I do and have. And that's the opposite. It's the wrong order. We built a great life, but she says we don't connect anymore. Is that about me or her? Well, Joseph, that's about you and her. Now, I can tell you from personal experience that when I turned my life around 8 years ago and started advocating for relationships and started focusing on my marriage, I drove that. But eventually my wife jumped in and now she drives it too. Sometimes she drives it when I'm not paying attention. Someone has to take the lead. So if you sit there and say, is that me or is it her? Oh, it's her. Nothing's going to happen. If you see it, you got to do something about it. Or another way to put it is if you spot it, you got it. And if you got it, you got to deal with it. This thing of I'm having a bad experience, even though I'm doing, and I feel bad, we can either turn it into it's their fault or it's something about me. If I'm not feeling good, no matter how much I'm doing, no matter how much I have, it's no one's responsibility but mine. Oh, I want to blame everyone else. Every time something goes on, I want to blame someone else. I want to blame society. I want to blame the leadership. I want to blame my wife. I want to blame my kids. I want to blame my neighbors. I want to blame the dog. I want to, but that doesn't change anything. That's just old wiring that needs to be cleaned out. The real shift happens in here. Real responsibility lands with me. If it's gonna be, it's up to me. Because the real sequence for creation is first you are, then you do based on who you are, how you're feeling, then you do, and then you have a result based on that action. Being is the starting point. Doing is the intermediate part of a project, and having is the result. It is not do, have, be. In fact, do, have, be is kind of the male mindset to sex. If we do sex, then I'm going to have a relationship and I'm going to feel close. But in real life, we need to feel close first before we do sex and have a relationship that works. That's so crude. Yeah, but it's so true. So we did this in a previous episode. Having it all can mask lonely at the top syndrome. This is true for men and women, but I'm speaking particularly to women because a lot of alpha women have come to me with guys who have stepping out on the relationship. We've done a lot of infidelity work with women who were at the top and whose husbands started seeking fulfillment in other places. And that is just not necessary. It doesn't need to be that way. Michaela asks, if success isn't enough, then what is? True fulfillment equals personal integration first. True fulfillment starts with identifying our inner needs and learning how to meet them ourselves, not looking for them externally. True fulfillment is about integrating that experience of I am learning how to fulfill myself through a relationship with a greater good, through developing and growing myself, through letting go of old things and starting new things. I'm taking that and I'm applying it to us. I want us to feel fulfilled. How can I support you in feeling fulfilled? Integration is true fulfillment. Self-integration, relational integration, and making sure that as we pursue our interests in the world, that those interests are truly fulfilling for us. Getting that we are okay personally, no matter what the result, because the truth is, you cannot be a leader without stepping in it. You cannot be a leader without making mistakes. You cannot be a leader without loss. In fact, you cannot change personally or make change in life without letting go of something. It's part of the process. It requires space for being, this word is thrown around so much. It's authenticity, right? I'm being my authentic self. Let's call it your real self. And you're just learning to bring that real self out. I want you to think about it that way. I'm being authentic. I can be an asshole and be authentic, all right? That authenticity stuff is way overrated. It's about being vulnerable. When I'm my real self with my partner, not only is that person I'm becoming present, but the person who is becoming that person is present, the one who is not yet that person. And so she, he, whoever you're with, they experience you as you are and as you will be all at the same time. And any time that we experience ourselves as we are and as we will be in the same time, we naturally see, oh, there's something we're going to need to let go of. So as I become this person, I need to let go of insecurity, let go of self-doubt, let go of fulfilling myself through what I do or my accomplishments, let go of defining success as worldly admiration or as worldly acknowledgement. Let go of those things so I can make space for real success, real fulfillment, a life rich in relationship. Because relationship richness is as vital, maybe more vital than career success. Real career success comes out of relational richness. Real career success, where not only is the entity that you're functioning and succeeding, but you're succeeding and everyone around you is being uplifted by you as you succeed together. That is true relational success and enrichment. That is shared prosperity and abundance. That's the game right there. That is the game right there. Women who report having strong relational support systems, a partner, friends, mentors, show 25% higher life satisfaction than those who don't, says a Gallup poll in 2022. Are you tracking that? When you work on your connections with yourself, your partner, your friends, your mentors, and I'm not going to leave out your higher power, the greater good, the collective unconscious, whatever you want to call that, but there's something bigger than us. When you're working on that connection, to your real self, the person who you are becoming, and you see yourself moving towards that, your life satisfaction grows by at least 25%. How can I support her without feeling like I'm just adding to her load? This is a great question in the face of man keeping, where so many men are being accused of being carried by these successful women. They're being carried emotionally. And I think the man keeping is very much a symptom of the having it all paradox, or this illusion that not only do women leaders need to be successful in work, but they need to be carrying their whole family, including their husbands. How can you support her? You can support her by growing the hell up and start to take some personal responsibility for yourself. And I say that as a guy who is growing the hell up and taking some personal responsibility. I will say that I personally have really enjoyed being cared for and carried, but in real life, there are places that we are going that require me to step up in front and to own my own feelings and develop as a whole, complete emotional human being without my wife carrying me, teaching me, fulfilling me, or being responsible for me. And I invite you men to do the same. And if you're not sure how to do that, connect with me. Go to richinrelationship.com. We have a free relationship group called The Bridge. It is a free group where you can get right away some tools. It's very valuable, like they're worth $600-700 plus a free call with me, and we can talk about it. Because having it all does not equal doing it all. Because having it all really looks like fulfillment through co-creation, fulfillment through creating relational synergy. Relational synergy is when the two of you get together and freaking magic happens as you work together. Like you start accomplishing on a level you couldn't imagine because the two of you together create results that neither of you could create on your own. That's what I'm talking about. We want to be rich in achievement and rich in relationship. And I want you to get that being rich in relationship is the basis for being rich in achievement. When you have a real marriage, a marriage that's rich in relationship, you are growing personally. When you have a marriage that's rich in relationship, you are helping one another grow personally. When you have a marriage that's rich in relationship, you are working together to help your children grow personally. When you have a marriage that's rich in relationship, you are working together to ensure that your parents are wherever they need to be. Maybe they're wearing diapers. Maybe they're launched into the next world. When you have a marriage that is rich in relationship, you are looking out for your neighbors. When you have a marriage that's rich in relationship, you're looking out for your extended family. When you have a marriage that's rich in relationship, you are contributing to the well-being of the world. And that is what I'm calling on you to do right now. Check us out, richinrelationship.com. And in the meantime, have an amazing day and an awesome tomorrow.